February is Eating Disorder Awareness Month, and of course that means a lot to me because I suffered with an eating disorder myself, and I know just how hard and scary it is to admit to yourself and others that you have an eating disorder. So I'd like to share with you my anorexic coming out story. It all begins with denial. I know that when I was deep into my eating disorder, probably at rock bottom, I would spend hours on the computer looking up what it's like to be anorexic, the symptoms, the side effects, and I would read that and I just wouldn't be scared. I would feel absolutely nothing because I was in such denial. I felt so numb, even though I knew I had a problem, but something in me was just saying, no, it's not you, this can't happen to you. It got to a point where I just had become so sick, and it was so physically apparent that those around me, my family, my friends that I was close to, even though I tried so hard to distance myself and hide in my room as much as I could, it just became too apparent and they knew I had a problem. I went to the hospital and I filled out a test, and yes, of course, my doctor said, you have anorexia, you need to be admitted into the hospital. I left the hospital kicking and screaming, and I never wanted to come back, but that was the first day that I finally saw that I have a problem. I have an eating disorder. I started going to group therapies, and in one of the sessions, a girl had told me about this project that was going on social media. Girls and boys would post photos with little posters or captions saying, I wear purple, which is the color representative of recovery, because, and then they would give a reason why they support eating disorder, recovery, and awareness. These people's stories were so inspiring and really motivated me to start recovery. So I thought, if I do that myself, not only will I be motivating myself, but maybe I could help those out there who are suffering as well. That night I went to the craft store and bought a canvas and some paint, and on it I wrote, I wear purple because I am never going back. The next day I took a photo of myself with that canvas, which I will put right here, and I posted it on Facebook, and all of my school saw it, all of my friends, all of my family, and that was it. Everyone knew. Instantly, I received so much support and love in the comments, and the next day at school, so many people had told me how brave I am, and even had come up to me discussing their own mental illness issues or eating disorder even. That was life-changing. I had all these people coming up to me saying that they too had anorexia or some sort of eating disorder, and I would have never thought that anyone in my school has suffered through that, because I walked through the halls and I thought, everyone is perfect, everyone is happy, and I'm not. I must be insane, but that just wasn't the case, because so many other people are suffering, and if not from an eating disorder, from other mental illnesses, or even just the mental exhaustion of everyday life. Everyone truly is fighting their own battle, and that made me feel so supported that I could admit that I have this thing, this issue, and I'm not alone. People were there to support me and to hold me accountable at lunch and snacking in class and stuff like that. It made it so much easier because I would want to make them proud. That was my main thing. When I posted that photo, everyone said, you are so strong, you are so brave, but I didn't feel strong or brave at all. But hearing those words made me want to, I don't want to say live up to their expectations or make them proud, because it is something you do for yourself, but it really did motivate me to become that courageous, brave person that people saw me as. That is when I truly started to fight. Then there were a few people I wanted to tell face-to-face that I had an eating disorder, so that was a bit more difficult for me, because being behind a computer screen definitely does give you a little more courage, and confronting someone face-to-face and saying, I have anorexia, is so daunting. What I didn't want was the person to feel bad for me or feel uncomfortable around me, pity me, anything like that, so I tried looking into the internet, seeing if there was any solid way I can say that I have an eating disorder, but there wasn't much. I went on the NIDA website, and I'm sure there are links in there that can help you that I'll link below. But ultimately, I went up to my friend, my close friends, and said, listen, I don't want you to see me any differently, but I'm fighting something right now. I have an eating disorder. I'm in the process of recovering. I'm with a team of doctors, therapists, and my family is there to help me. It's so important to let them know that they don't even need to respond. They can literally just stand there in silence, and all I really need is a hug, because that lets me know that I'm supported. And the response that felt so comforting to me was just, I'll be there for you. If you ever need to talk, if you ever need anything, I'll be there for you. You can't expect those people to fix it, and you can't even expect them to say the perfect response. Just know that whatever they do say, they're trying their best, and they really do love you. If you don't have a team of doctors and therapists, it could be harder to let the person feel like they're not responsible for you or they're not scared for you. But having a team of doctors is something you need while recovering from an eating disorder. So if you don't have it now and you really would like to tell your friend, then just tell them that it's your intention to have a team of doctors and that they don't have to feel responsible for your life and your safety. I also really had to ask myself why I felt so compelled to tell everyone, to tell my friends, my family, even strangers that I have an eating disorder. The truth is, I would walk around my high school feeling like I had this huge secret, this huge thing that consumed my every thought, my every move, and it was awful. I felt like I was this puppet just putting on a show, and meanwhile, I was fighting this huge battle that seemed like it defined me. Later on, I realized that it does not define you at all, but at the time, I just felt like I was walking around living this lie. It was a tremendous sigh of relief to just admit that openly, and it allowed myself to admit to my problems more and really accept that, this is a mental illness and a disorder that I have and I need to tackle. My second reason for coming out was because I wanted to inspire others. I didn't want girls to look at me anymore and compliment how thin my legs were or my self-control when it came to food. Those words were disgusting to me. I wanted people to look at me and see that this isn't healthy. This super thin girl that I've become is not natural at all. It's the result of anorexia. All the time, girls would come up to me and tell me that they wish they had my body and they wish they had thin legs like me and a thin waist, but they didn't know that my skin was flaking off, my hair was falling out in clumps, my fingers and lips would be purple all the time, even if it was hot outside, because my body was just so freezing. They didn't know that when I was sitting in class, bruises were forming on my butt because my butt bones would literally punch through my skin into the metal chair. Eating disorders are not glamorous at all, and being thin isn't worth it. And lastly, I just want to say, although many eating disorders sound very similar, they are all extremely different, and you could be suffering with an eating disorder and not be this stickly thin girl or boy, or even so you could be a boy and it's not seen as typical in society to be a boy suffering with an eating disorder, but it is apparent. It's not something that is gender bias. Eating disorders are just as deadly to someone who weighed double my weight compared to, someone that weighed even less than me. It's always dangerous, and your feelings are always validated and true, and if you would like to speak out, then you should. If not to your entire school, and if not to your friends, then at least the family you live with and a therapist. You don't have to do this alone. Trust me, it feels so much better if you have a team of support and love. You have nothing to be ashamed of. This is a fight you will win. I wish you guys the best of luck, and thank you for listening. I felt as if I was trapped in this room, and as I spoke, my words would come out and they would just surround me and they would be stuck in the room. I didn't feel like I was moving.